In recent years, Nigeria has recorded a surge in oil theft incidents in its oil-producing regions, which has worsened the nation's revenue challenge. In April 2023, the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative revealed that the country lost 619.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at 16.25 trillion naira to crude oil theft between 2009 and 2020. With the country's major dependence on petrol, it has had 4 state-owned refineries, but they have become dilapidated and idle due to mismanagement, lack of proper monitoring of crude oil production, illegal refining, theft from wellheads, and diversion from sophisticated pipelines network has been identified as some of the causes of oil theft in Nigeria. Now it is time to intensify efforts by breaking into the cartels of these perpetrators. Joining us in the studio to discuss more is Director, National Probity and Value for Nation Building Organization, Adewumi Fagbola. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good to see you. Great.
Now, when we talk about oil theft, it's a matter that has been on the front burner, especially with this current administration, where he came in and directed that the security chiefs do something with regards to that. And even the past administration, engaged Tita Security to also look into the matter of addressing oil theft. And even recently, there's been a back and forth between the Navy and that private security organization, talking about pointing accusing fingers, and then the private security is being accused of being heavy-handed, so to speak, and going past what it's supposed to do with regards to addressing this matter. But when you read the handwriting on the wall with regards to how government is trying to handle this issue, are we on the right track?
Yeah, I think we are. Because based on the accomplishment of Tita in the past year of engagement, and I can even say in the first 5 months of his engagement by the petroleum, the National Petroleum Company, over 1,000 illegal incursions on the crude trunk lines uncovered, over 630 illegal refineries also uncovered and discovered and destroyed, over 68 vessels arrested and delivered and handed over to the security organizations. So these are mind-boggling and mind-blowing revelations that has never happened in the history of our country, in the history of these contracts being given out. It has never happened. These contracts have been given to all sorts of people, all sorts of groups, all sorts of business people. But now, I think late last year, that's August 2023, when Tita was engaged, the government, for the first time, actually decided to go and engage the services of a very competent security organization, an organization that is well-rooted in the communities where these pipelines are. An organization with credible people leading this particular organization. An organization with incorruptible people that will never do deals, that will never allow any vessel pass. Any vessel that comes without clearance will never come and take products and just go. I think the government should be commended for this, for hiring Tita and engaging Tita. And I think there's still a lot more to be done, but a lot has been achieved already. In 6 months of engagement, Tita increased the nation's production from record low 1.1 million barrels per day to record high 1.7 million barrels per day. That's almost a 40%, 30% increase. That has never been done before. And we've engaged all sorts of Israeli companies, all sorts of mercenaries, so many people But I mean, I just want to also commend the administration of the past administration of General Buhari, and also the present leadership of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company under the leadership of Malam Mele Kyari. So,
All right. Now, the recall some time ago, there was the destruction of a vessel.
yes.
And it generated a lot of debate as to why a vessel of that kind was destroyed. There was a need to have evidence, and all of that. Reports came out that the vessel was under probe maybe about 10 years or more than that ago, and so on. But we also got reports that there were mandates that the moment you see those and it's verified, it is better they are taken out. But not so many Nigerians are comfortable with that, because it looks like like she was talking about addressing the foundation of the issue. Yep. When you destroy these things, then the investigation, where we should have investigated to get to know who was behind it, who are the people and all of that, is lost. But speak to us from that window. How does that help the industry if we keep destroying these vessels, carrying out or conducting illegal businesses?
Okay. I think we all know, like, Nigeria is a country where miracles happen.
Illegal miracles, eh?
Because once the moment these oil cartels are well orchestrated, well oiled, well connected, extremely rich, the moment these cases or the moment these vessels go into lockup, mysteriously they escape. Mysteriously, their content is changed with water. In this country, we've seen the incident of Empty African Pride, where the ship was arrested, and overnight the ship left the lockup, and nobody saw the ship, and all the products were stolen that happened in 2004. This is 2023. 20 years later, nothing has come out of that. So the case of which you alluded to is the case of MT Tura 2. This is a vessel that has been involved in rogue operations for the past 10 years, doing all sorts of deals, illegal deals. And this particular vessel has been under the watchful eye of security agencies. And because they keep hiding their identity, changing their flags, changing their names to go from one name to another name. But on the day it was caught, on that very unlucky day it was caught, I mean, there was no way anybody could come and save that vessel. No way. Because we know that the moment that vessel is arrested, something will happen.
A miracle will happen.
A miracle will happen. So in order to forestall miracles happening, those sorts of miracles, it's better to just burn them. So they can't come and be released and still come back and steal products again. I think
there are concerns about environmental factors.
Yes.
Because the point there is, if the vessel is laden with crude oil,
yes,
and you're destroying it on high sea, you can imagine the impact on the water.
Yes.
How about that?
Yeah, I mean that's a very, very pertinent question, and important issue you just raised. But I think the damage that vessel has done pales in comparison to the effects of burning or destroying that vessel to the environment. I mean, this is a vessel that has been stealing for years. This is a vessel that had 150,000 metric tons stolen, valued at $86.5 million. So imagine just doing 4 transactions in 1 month, coming to steal product just 4 times in 1 month. That's about $350 million in just 1 month. Loss to the nation. 350, and multiply that by 12. You're talking of billions and billions in losses. So I think the argument of burning that vessel being the environmental issues, I think it pales in comparison to the damage this vessel has already caused in the past 10 years. You're talking of billions of dollars in losses. Just one vessel. That's just one vessel. So imagine 10 vessels
Of that kind.
That's a 800,000 metric ton vessel committing that type of heist, valued at just it's $6 million. So I mean, we can all do the math.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
And it's mind-boggling.
And it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go too far calculating it tonight. But let's come to the issue of how these people are able to navigate through our waters. You talked about the watchful eyes of our security, and I'm wondering how watchful they are that these people still go through and steal us blind to this level, and then until Tita came in, like you were mentioning, and then we're beginning to record some successes. What are we missing? What really is the issue? Because there's been accusations here and there, but let me just step that aside.
I think we all know that not even a jerry can of crude can be taken without the active connivance of some security agencies. Not one, not even a jerry can. So the main thing is we know the security people are involved. So the role Tita has been playing is basically a watchdog organization, watching the watcher, watching the people that are supposed to watch and man these pipelines. Because if Tita is not there, I'm telling you, I think we would have the past incidences of force majors and shut-ins, and where Nigeria doesn't even have money to even fund its budget, revenue issues, government can't even meet its social responsibility to its citizenry. To me, Tita is a savior and should be regarded as a savior of the Nigerian economy. Yes.
Right.
Well, the point there is one thing to start, it's another thing to sustain.
Yes.
Because we've seen instances where contractors, agencies are contracted to handle certain kind of, by the time they get used to the system, and sometimes they bite the pie and see how sweet the thing is, then they begin to compromise here and there. So speak to us from that window, because this is one of the most lucrative industries
in the country,
in the world. The oil industry is very lucrative as it is. So, and narrowing it down to Nigeria, everyone, the whole country, the whole government, they all depend on this product.
Exactly.
Speak to us from that window. What would it take to sustain this kind of a fight going forward?
This current administration has started on the right path, and also the organization itself, Tita. This is a group of incorruptible, credible people. These are people that have been offered money. I think one of the officials of Tita was offered 25 million just to let one of these vessels pass, and he rejected that. These people will never get used to the pie or taking anything that's not for them. That issue will never happen.
You think so?
It will never happen. I'm very sure.
What makes you so sure?
Because of the people, because of the organization itself, the people involved in the running of that organization, in particular, Chief Government Ikpim Polo, that's the leader of Tita. His image, we already know his image as a no-nonsense person. He's not willing to do deals. He's not willing. The oil thieves, they know. The cabals, they know. Everybody knows. The corrupt security agencies know.
But some people would say that, well, maybe because they've been greased in one way, so
they're ready to give it their all.
They'll be able to function in other ways. Because the point there is, these were people who, at some point in time, took their arms
agitated
against the government, destroyed this same property and pipelines and oil assets, as the case may be. So, are they doing this out of outright patriotism right now, or it is because, okay, they've been adequately settled, so they can now do business?
Yes. Now, I think the first thing we should know is there was a government-granted amnesty program where these people surrendered their arms, pledged not to, destroy or fight or take up arms against the government. That is the past. These people now, business leaders come to see them, government officials go to them, because they are in these communities. They are respected. People trust them. People believe in them. So this is not an issue of a restarting of insurgency. That will never come up again.
No, that's not the issue.
Right.
What he is saying is it because they have been adequately settled? Because they did not just decide to take up this responsibility.
Yes.
There was some level of settlement from the government to them, and now we are seeing them perform, like you rightly pointed. Is it based on that you feel, or you are confident that because they've been adequately settled, they can't be compromised?
Yes, they've been adequately settled, and they can't be compromised. And apart from being settled monetarily, I still go back to saying Tita is made up of individuals with character, impeccable character.
You know them personally?
I won't say that. I won't say that.
So how would you vouch for them?
From word of mouth, sources, personal sources,
But is that adequate to vouch for someone?
Yeah,
to say that
because
they have impeccable character? Because if you're vouching for them on national TV, then you are staking your integrity by saying that, well, I can tell the world that I know these people based on the template you have set, based on your engagement with them, and you can tell the world that they are, because who knows? This same company that you're referring to now, based on what you've said, can get contracts from other countries and other people as well, based on the testimony that you're bringing.
But they can't, what do you mean get contracts? Get contracts to steal the crude?
No, get contracts to do exactly what
they are
perform
doing, to
and what they're doing
replicate.
If you're paid, this is a legitimate company. You can engage in security. That's what they do. So anybody can come in and engage them. The services are out there for anybody to engage. But the issue of them engaging in corrupt practices on the waters, I don't think that will happen. Where you have a situation where open situation where officials rejected 25 million of Tita. This is probably a junior officer there. So if a junior officer there can reject that amount of money and say this vessel is not going anywhere, we're going to arrest this vessel. So imagine the leader and the founder.
Right.
But what
not being successful.
Yeah. But what do you make? Because we're seeing that there seem to be some subtle agitation from other groups wanting to have the same kind of contracts.
Yes.
And different. The point there is, some persons have even analyzed to say that there could be a clash sometime going forward, because there are now interests, seeing that there's huge amount of money backing these people up to do the business or the contract they're doing. So others also want in. So what are you seeing in that regard?
I think the others are hustlers. That's what I'll call it.
Why would you put it that way?
Yeah, because, the other people have gotten these contracts and nothing has happened. We were losing 700,000 barrels before, and at this point, that has come down at least by 500,000 barrels. And why go back to these hustlers? This is not a job for the boys. This is very key and serious. This is something concerning our economic lifeline, our mainstay.
So at what point is this realization coming on board now to say, well, these are people who are patriotic, at what point? These are people that, remember I said earlier, these are people who took up arms against the state. So at what point is it have they realized that, okay, there's a serious business of government that we need to save the country? Because they were in the same trenches with those who are agitating to
be
want
part of this
into the
now.
business. So how come one is serious and the other is a hustler?
Okay, I think, like I said, man, amnesty has already been granted. The issue of amnesty happened over, I think, 2008, 2009. And since that point, since that time,
Right.
the owners and the founders of Tita have never engaged in criminality or being apprehended by security agents for criminal acts, for vandalizing pipelines, for whatever corrupt practices. Nobody has been charged, nobody has been arrested. They've already accepted amnesty. Why go back? They're moving forward. The founder of Tita said one thing that stuck with me when that contract was granted. He said he's doing it for the environment. He wants to bring back the environment to what it used to be before.
Because it was
Get
paid,
the Niger Delta people.
Yeah, because he was now paid to do so, not because
He did not just make the decision on his
not
own
because he understands
without the settlement.
Exactly, not because he understands the need for the environment to be the way it's supposed to be, or not out of patriotism.
All right. Okay.
Vandalization was an issue of necessity. The people that took up arms against the government did that out of necessity. They didn't just wake up one day. Who wants to be in
necessity?
The creeks? Yes, because they were not feeling the impact of the government in the creeks, in the trenches there. So they decided this is the right thing to do. Because sometimes you have to do.
But do you think that was the right thing to do?
Do I think yes? Because sometimes you have to do what you have to do in order to be heard.
So
in Nigeria,
in that case, if you're putting it that way, then in the southeast, those who are agitating, they're doing the right thing. In the northeast, those who are agitating, whatever thing they're doing the right thing. Bandits are doing the right thing, and as the case may be, because everyone has his own, knows where the issue is pinching him. As a case, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying what's going on in the southeast is correct.
Is there any difference?
There's a difference.
What's the difference?
Imagine now.
Do you know the attendant impact on the same environment you mentioned earlier?
Right.
How it is that some persons cannot farm, and the waters are not clean enough for people to consume?
Yes.
So I believe that it's still the same thing we are talking about.
I mean, the difference is the people that took up arms against the government come from the place where this resource comes from.
There are resources from the northeast as well. There are resources everywhere.
And these people are not feeling the impact of the government. So they decided to, register their displeasure and disapproval.
I believe there are different ways of laying your complaints before the government, but destroying government property, I don't think is the right way to go personally. But then let's quickly look at how we can improve our security, securing our pipelines as it is. Now, we see, I think it's somewhere in the United Arab Emirates where they have, a video wall, so to speak, where they can monitor each drop. Saudi Arabia, yes. Very good. Where they can monitor each drop. As it moves, they are monitoring everything. How then can we perhaps replicate such in Nigeria? Will that be the way for us to go? Or what ways can we improve on our pipelines to secure them?
I think the National Petroleum Company Limited already has that in place. But you still need to engage the indigenes, the people of these communities where these pipelines run through. You can't go past them. You can bring 100 million drones. Whatever will happen, these pipelines run through their communities. They will be the one. This thing has to be in their hands. They will be the ones to man these pipelines, to secure these pipelines. You need their buy-in. And when their buy-in is secured, I'm telling you, the issue of
Has the government not done that?
Yes, by engaging Tita. Yes, because this company.
There be more engagement then.
Yes, they should be re-engaged and re-empowered, and
and more other engagements, even apart from Tita.
Yes, maybe some other private companies, bring them on board, Yes.
All right. The Nigerians have raised the question as to because you mentioned amnesty, the amnesty program earlier. Yes. Many years ago. It's more than 10 years to 15 years, running.
Yes.
And government is still on with the amnesty program.
Right.
These people have been trained. Some of them have been sent abroad. They've been skilled and retooled and so on, and given all sorts of capacity.
Yes.
So when is it time to end the amnesty program?
I mean, the only time to end the amnesty program is when every Ijaw person under that program has been trained and has been empowered.
Every Ijaw person?
Yes, the program is a cesspool of corruption right now. Everyday protest, one thing or the other, one money taking.
No, but the agenda was not to use it to train and tool and empower every Ijaw person. That was not the agenda.
It was the agitators.
The major agitators are of Ijaw extraction.
Yeah, but those persons who agitated,
Right,
dropped their arms, their data, everything were taken, and they were sent for empowerment and skill acquisition.
Yes.
Now they are back. Shouldn't they be able to fend for themselves and even employ other people?
You still have about 20,000 ex-agitators that haven't been empowered or...
Where have they been for the last 13, 14, 15 years?
I mean, if you know, in the past, I think 5 years now, the amnesty office has gone through like a lot of instability, changes from one leader to another leader, over issues of corruption. So a lot of the monies have been stolen in that place.
But,
So,
we've never heard any of the ex-militants saying that they have not been paid.
No, a lot of them complain. They get paid their stipends, but they don't get empowered. So the goal of the amnesty program was get paid your stipends and also get empowered. So if you do just one part and leave the other part out, I mean, that's where the issues come from.
But how long do you think that each person should have been empowered enough to handle or to stand on his own?
I mean, empowerment is basically, setting them up in their own businesses, them having a job. That's also a way of empowerment. But I think till every last one of them is empowered. I think till every last one of the 30,000 ex-agitators. So, yes.
Okay, we'll have to leave this conversation here now. Adewumi Fagbola,
Yes.
Director, National Property and Value for Nation Building Organization. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right.